Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us begin the bulletin with the headlines. Prime Minister Modi stresses on need to de-link terror and religion. Speeches for pacts to fight terror as he winds up his visit to Belgium. Modi to reach Washington today for the 4th Nuclear Security Summit. Uttarakhand High Court orders stay on the floor test in Assembly. 2-judge division bench posts matter for further hearing on 6th of April. Cabinet issues ordinance authorizing use for funds for state government. Joint investigation team from Pakistan to begin recording statements of witnesses in the Pathankot terror attack. NIA hands over list of 300 questions. Seeks access to JEM chief Maulana Masood Azhar. Leaders of Libya's UN-backed unity government arrive in Tripoli in an attempt to take control. Hardliners in coalition that controls Tripoli called them interlopers, say they are not welcome. And England ends New Zealand's winning streak at the World T20, beat them by 7 wickets in the semi-finals. England will take on the winner from the India-West Indies encounter today. Well, our top story, issue of terrorism remain the focus of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Belgian capital Brussels. Well, the day-long visit saw Prime Minister attending the long-pending India-EU summit and a one-on-one with Belgian Prime Minister Charles Michel. In a joint statement, the two Prime Ministers agreed that terrorism should not be associated with any religion, nationality, civilization or ethnic group. Prime Minister Modi is due to reach Washington today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaving for Washington to attend the 4th Nuclear Security Summit. This after spending a packed day in Belgian capital Brussels. Prime Minister began the day by paying tribute to the victims of the Belgium terror attacks at the Melbeek metro station. Modi laid a wreath at the metro station where an Indian software engineer was among the 13 killed. The issue of terrorism also figured prominently in Modi's talks with his Belgian counterpart Charles Michel and with members of the European Parliament. The two nations agreed to restart and expedite talks on a mutual legal assistance treaty and an extradition treaty, among other steps, to fight terrorism.
To respond to this common challenge, we could resume discussions on a mutual legal assistance treaty.
Official meeting with the Prime Minister of India was a very important moment in our bilateral relationships. We have a very good and very strong relationships between Belgium and India.
While attending the India-EU summit, Modi stressed that India was with the EU in its fight against international terrorism. Talks between Modi and EU officials, including European Council President Donald Tusk and European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker, also touched on trade and investment, climate, energy, water and migration.
Prime Minister offered condolences on this barbaric act and said that India stands with the EU in the fight against international terrorism. He said that India wanted to scale up its cooperation with the European Union in the area of counter-terrorism.
Prime Minister Modi also witnessed the signing of loan agreement between the Lucknow Metro and the European Investment Bank at the summit. The European Union, through the bank, will loan India €450 million to construct a 23-kilometer metro line and purchase a fleet of about 80 metro cars in Lucknow. Apart from meeting EU officials, Modi held talks with Indian diamond traders on the sidelines of the summit. He also invited the Belgian government and businesses to proactively associate with India's ambitious development projects.
I invite the Belgian government and companies to proactively associate with India's ambitious development projects, including Digital India, Startup India and Skill India.
Thereafter, PM Modi addressed the Indian community in Brussels, where he stressed the need to de-link terrorism from religion.
मैंने दुनिया के कई वरिष्ठ नेताओं से बात की, अलग अलग सांप्रदायिक धाराओं से जुड़े हुए नेताओं से बात की और उनको मैंने समझाया कि आतंकवाद को रिलीजन से डीलिंग कर देना चाहिए.
On his three-nation trip, the Prime Minister will now attend the Nuclear Security Summit, staying in Washington, D.C. for 2 days. Thereafter, he will leave for Saudi Arabia. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in related news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Belgian counterpart Charles Michel remotely launched Asia's biggest telescope, the Aryabhat Research Institute for Observational Sciences, or ARIES. Now, it has been built with Belgian assistance. The telescope, with a 3.6 meters wide primary mirror, is located at Devasthal near Nainital in Uttarakhand. ARIES, the largest optical telescope of its kind in Asia, is a product of Indo-Belgian collaboration. It will be used to study star structures and magnetic field structures of stars.
इस टेलीस्कोप के द्वारा भारत और बेल्जियम के वैज्ञानिकों को अपने काम में सफलता और सहायता मिलेगी ही, साथ ही साथ यह पूरी मानवता के ज्ञानवर्धन में भी उपयोगी साबित होगा.
हम अपनी यात्रा को यहाँ पर नहीं रोक रहे हैं. हम तो दुनिया का जो सबसे बड़ा है 30 मीटर का टेलीस्कोप, उसको बनाने की प्रक्रिया को प्रारंभ कर चुके हैं. जो अमेरिका, कनाडा और जापान के साथ मिलकर हम 30 मीटर के लिए भी काम शुरू कर चुके हैं. 2023 तक वो तैयार हो जाएगा.
बहुत गर्व की बात है कि इतनी बड़ी दूरबीन जो एशिया की लार्जेस्ट दूरबीन है और ये आधुनिक दूरबीन है, इससे जो है हम अभी तक जो हमारे पास दूरबीनें थी 1 मीटर व्यास की और उनसे जो हम प्रोग्राम नहीं ले सकते थे रिसर्च करने के लिए, वो हम इस दूरबीन से कर पाएंगे और हम फ्रंट लाइन रिसर्च कर पाएंगे. ये हमारे लिए एक बहुत बड़े गौरव की बात है.
And news from Uttarakhand. Well, the political drama in the state is set to continue for a few more days. The floor test that was to happen in the State Assembly on 31st of March has been directed by the State High Court will not take place now. Now, this is a division bench of the same court stayed the interim order following the centre's petition which challenged the floor test. For now, President's rule in the state will continue. Meanwhile, the Union Cabinet has cleared an ordinance to authorize the use of funds by the state government beyond 1st of April in Uttarakhand.
It's back to square one in Uttarakhand. There will be no floor test in the State Assembly on the 31st of March as directed by a single bench of the Uttarakhand High Court. A division bench of the same court stayed the interim order till the 7th of April, the next date of hearing.
सिंगल जज का ऑर्डर है वो 7 तारीख तक होल्ड पे हो गया है. जहां तक भारत सरकार की बात है, भारत सरकार अपना काउंटर इस पिटीशन पर सोमवार तक देगा. दूसरी साइड पिटीशनर का जवाब मंगल तक आएगा. बुधवार को इसकी सुनवाई होगी.
The BJP termed it a vindication of its stand. The Congress said the stay order was given so as to resolve the matter completely.
सिंगल बेंच का जजमेंट था. न्यायालय डबल बेंच ने उसको ठीक समझते हुए इस मामले में सारी अनिश्चितताओं का समाधान करने का फैसला लिया. तो ये हमारे लिए एक प्रकार की डबल विक्ट्री है.
जिस तरीके से जल्दबाजी में सिंगल बेंच का आदेश था, उसमें स्थितियां स्पष्ट नहीं हो रही थी कि राष्ट्रपति आदेश लगा हुआ है, कौन विश्वास का मत लेगा. ये थोड़े से कंफ्यूजन थे, इसलिए स्टे मिला है. पर हमें विश्वास है क्योंकि हम पहले दिन से भी बहुमत में हैं. हमने जिस दिन डिवीजन मांगा था उस दिन भी हमारे साथ 36 विधायक थे. हम राज्यपाल जी के पास गए, उस दिन भी हमारे पास 36 विधायक थे. आज भी हमारे पास 36 विधायक है.
Rebel MLAs too welcomed the new order.
निलंबित विधानसभा में नेता सदन होगा नहीं और विश्वास प्रस्ताव या विश्वास प्रस्ताव पे सदन विभिन्न दलों के जो सदन के नेता सदन और नेता विपक्ष. अब जब सदन ही निलंबित है तो कौन नेता सदन कौन नेता विपक्ष. तो इस परिस्थिति को माननीय न्यायालय ने समझा और मैं समझता हूँ अब जो हेयरिंग होगी, हेयरिंग में सारी बातें स्पष्ट हो जाएंगी।
The stay order came in response to the centre's petition challenging the interim order of the single bench. In its petition, the centre sought clarification on whether the floor test can be held when the assembly is in a state of suspended animation. The state assembly was suspended soon after President's rule was imposed on Sunday. The centre also told the court that if a trust vote is allowed, there will be two governments in Uttarakhand, as the state is already under President's rule. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in related news, the Union Cabinet has recommended repromulgating an ordinance to amend the nearly 50-year-old Enemy Property Act. The Cabinet was chaired by Home Minister Rajnath Singh as Prime Minister Narendra Modi was away in Brussels. The first ordinance was promulgated in January and a bill to replace the executive order was introduced in Parliament in the budget session. While it was cleared by the Lok Sabha, the opposition in the Rajya Sabha forced the government to refer it to a select committee of the upper house. The Cabinet also issued an ordinance authorizing expenditure beyond 1st of April in Uttarakhand in view of the political crisis in the state.
Today the Cabinet has recommended an appropriation ordinance for Uttarakhand, whereby valid withdrawal of the government revenue can be done. For the consideration of Honorable the President, that we had passed an enemy property ordinance which was ratified by the Lok Sabha, and when it went to the Rajya Sabha, it has been referred to a select committee. But the duration of this ordinance is going to expire in the first week of April. Therefore, that ordinance has also been repromulgated till the receipt of the report of the select committee.
And now time for all the assembly election related news in our special segment, Verdict 2016. Well, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, who has begun his campaigning for the upcoming Assam Assembly polls, will hold 3 rallies in the state today. Rahul Gandhi will be addressing public rallies in Tinsukia and Dibrugarh later in the day. He is also slated to address another rally in Tezpur. In his previous rallies, Rahul Gandhi has asked voters to reject BJP in the assembly polls. He stated that if BJP came to power, Assam would be run from the RSS headquarters in Nagpur or the PMO. He also warned the people that the BJP will only stoke violence in the state and end the atmosphere of peace ushered in by the Congress. Assembly elections in Assam will be held in 2 phases on the 4th and 11th of April. Now, news from West Bengal. Well, an opinion poll conducted by a news channel predicts that the Trinamool Congress will get a majority in the assembly polls and Mamata Banerjee will retain her position as the Chief Minister of the state. The poll also suggests that the BJP will barely make an impact in the polls.
Mamata Banerjee-led Trinamool Congress is set to return to power in West Bengal by winning a majority and getting an increased vote share compared to 2011 assembly elections, says an opinion poll conducted by a news channel. The opinion poll has projected that the TMC will get 178 seats. The Congress Left Party's alliance will be the prime challenger to the TMC and are expected to win around 110 seats in the 295-member state assembly. The survey projects that the BJP will not emerge as a big player in West Bengal and will receive a 5% vote share and will win just 1 seat, and the others will get 6 seats. According to a statement issued by the Hindi news channel, the opinion poll was conducted in 118 constituencies with 14,450 respondents from 8th to the 20th of March. As per the survey, there is not much difference between TMC and the Left Congress alliance in terms of vote share. While the former will get around 45% votes, much higher than the 39% it got in 2011, the latter would get around 44% share. The BJP is slated to get 5% of the votes. According to the poll, there is a degree of satisfaction with the performance of the TMC government, and 58% of the respondents have found the performance of Banerjee as good or very good, while 16% rated it as poor or very poor. Banerjee is the most popular leader in the state, followed by CPIM veteran Buddhadev Bhattacharya and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Polling for the first phase will take place on April 4th and 11th. Polling for the second phase will be held on April 17th, the third phase on April 21st, fourth on April 25th, and the fifth and sixth phases on April 30th and May 5th respectively. Votes will be counted on the 19th of May. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And let's get you some more election-related stories this morning in Election Wrap. Well, Congress in West Bengal has released its manifesto for the upcoming assembly polls. The manifesto states that the party's main objective is to ensure all-round processes so that the state regains its stature and pride. The 13-page manifesto also says that the party's resolution is to oust the ruling Trinamool Congress government. The United People's Party, which is in alliance with the Congress in Assam, has released its manifesto for the upcoming assembly elections. The manifesto promises to bring all-round development in the Bodoland area. The party also said that if brought to power, it will resolve all political issues and problems of different Bodo groups to bring peace in the region. The selection of Congress candidates for the 16th of May assembly elections in Kerala remains undecided. This due to the differences between Chief Minister Oman Chandi and KPCC President VM Sudhiran over the finalization of certain candidates. Chandi reportedly does not agree with the stringent norms put up by Sudhiran that disallows candidates who have served for more than 4 terms and those who were tainted. Well, with this, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries on Rajya Sabha television.
And now an update on the Pathankot terror attack. Well, the visiting Pakistan GIT will begin recording the statement of the witnesses in the case today. The witnesses include a superintendent of police, rank officer of Punjab. Top officials of the NIA who held wide-ranging talks with the JIT have sought the voice samples of Maulana Masood Azhar, who is the chief of the terror group JEM and is said to have masterminded the assault, and his brother. Besides the details of a trust run by the outfit, the Pakistani GIT was handed over a list of 300 questions by the NIA during the day-long deliberations that took place in New Delhi. Now, the NIA has sought access to Azhar and Rauf and told the visiting team that till the time India's request was pending with the authorities in Islamabad, it would like the Pakistani GIT to question them about their role in the attack and also hand over their statement to the Indian agency.
They shared the investigation which they have conducted, which we can't share with you. हमने जो मांगा है हमने उनको अपनी लिस्ट दे दी है. उन्होंने जो मांगा है we are in the process of handing over documents and etc. to them. The witnesses will be examined tomorrow. Let's see.
On to some international stories now, where leaders of Libya's new UN-backed unity government arrived in the capital Tripoli to take control. Now, Libya's UN envoy called for a peaceful and orderly handover. Hardliners who control Tripoli, however, are opposed to the UN brokered deal, which is aimed at reconciling a nation which is split by 5 years of conflict.
Members of Libya's UN-backed Presidential Council reached Tripoli by ship, defying attempts to keep them from installing a unity government. 7 members of the council, including Faiz Siraj, the new government's prime minister, arrived amid tight security.
المباركة بإذن الله نعلن لأبناء شعبنا الكريم مباشرة حكومة الوفاق الوطني لمهامها من العاصمة طرابلس.
Hours after the council's arrival, the situation in Tripoli remained volatile, with clashes erupting between supporters and opponents of the council.
مهمتنا لم شمل الليبيين رغم الصدع شبابنا هم رهاننا على بناء ليبيا وعلى الدفاع عليها.
Libya has been caught in conflict between rival factions since 2011, with one controlling the capital Tripoli in the west and the unity government, which was displaced to the east of the country. The UN aims to bring the sides together, but the envisaged joint cabinet has been unable to set up in Tripoli and start work because of resistance on the ground.
À partir de là, nous pourrons construire avec la Libye une relation, et construire avec elle une solution qui permette à ce pays de se réconcilier, mais aussi de se reconstruire et de maîtriser ce danger qui le guette et qui guette les puissances de la région. Et elles sont nombreuses, les pays de la région, c'est-à-dire la progression de Daesh. Voilà l'état d'esprit qui est le nôtre, mais il y a urgence à ce que ce gouvernement soit installé.
Western nations are keen for unity authorities to be established quickly so they can offer Libya more aid in battling Islamic State there and help stabilize Libya to curb a flow of illegal migrants across the Mediterranean Sea to Europe. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
More international stories in World Wrap. US presidential candidate Donald Trump briefly called for some form of punishment for women who have abortions if it became illegal. His initial comments made during a town hall event with cable network sparked a wave of criticism. However, Donald Trump quickly reversed his position, saying that only the person who performed the abortion should be punished. However, he maintained his position has not changed. The EU Commissioner for Migration, Home Affairs and Citizenship stated in Geneva has said that asylum status in Europe will only be granted to those refugees from Syria who are in dire need of international assistance. Now, Dimitris Avramopoulos made the remarks during a brief press conference held after a meeting on global responsibility sharing through pathways for admission of Syrian refugees, which was hosted by the UN Refugee Agency UNHCR. Chinese President Xi Jinping arrived in the US for this week's nuclear security summit in Washington, D.C. Just as fears of nuclear terrorism are on the rise, US President Barack Obama's US-led drive to lock down all vulnerable atomic materials worldwide risks losing momentum. Obama will convene the Global Security Summit, bringing together more than 50 countries in the aftermath of the deadly militant attacks in Brussels that have fueled concerns that Islamic State could eventually target nuclear plants and develop radioactive bombs. Now to some cricket news. Well, India and West Indies will play out in the mouth-watering semi-finals in Mumbai later today. Both teams will lock horns to seal a ticket to the finale at the ICC World T20 tournament. While India's ability to win the big games under pressure has been a hallmark in recent times, but West Indies will be no pushover. The Caribbeans are a dominant force in this format, and Indian conditions are not new to their key players. Chris Gayle is determined to grab the World T20 limelight back from in-form Virat Kohli, who has been the star of the tournament so far, guiding India through tough times in the group stages. However, Yuvraj Singh's injury has in fact put India into dilemma as they gear up for the semi-finals. Yuvraj Singh, who has not got big runs but has been involved in crucial stands with the top performer Virat Kohli during the group stage matches, has been ruled out due to an ankle injury that he sustained in the match against Australia. West Indies preparation were also dealt a blow with the announcement that Andre Fletcher has been ruled out for the rest of the tournament with a hamstring injury.
Yuvraj has been declared unfit.
Yeah.
How much of an impact it will have on the team?
It will have an impact because, you know, he's had his moments. I thought his 3 overs were brilliant in the last game. That really put the check and the brakes on the scoring and allowed us to come back into the contest, because after the first 4 overs it was a no contest. You know, at one stage it looked 200 plus, which would have been very difficult on that surface to chase. So he will be missed. Unfortunate.
I don't think we'll have one Indian supporter, you know, so it's going to be a massive game, and it's a challenge that we are ready for.
And yesterday, well, England crushed New Zealand by 7 wickets in the first semi-finals of the ICC World T20 tournament played in Kotla, New Delhi. Now, English batsman Jason Roy made his career best, hitting 78 runs to chase the target of 154 set by the Kiwis in 17.1 overs.
Or maybe he's not sitting in. Big shot, shows what a good pitch it is. Leg out the way. Smash.
England stormed into the finals of the ICC World T20 tournament after crushing tournament's favourite New Zealand by 7 wickets in the first semi-finals on Wednesday. English batsman Jason Roy's magnificent batting of 78 runs helped England reach the target of 154 runs set by the Black Caps with 17 balls to spare.
Gets it fine, so back-to-back boundaries just by manipulating.
Electing to field, England staged a strong comeback in the second half of the innings. Roy and Alex Hale's partnership provided a flying start to their reply, and Jos Buttler smacked a six to seal the semi-final victory.
All the way, what a way to go through to a final.
Roy smashed 4 boundaries in the very first over against Corey Anderson to set the tone. Roy took 26 balls to bring up his maiden half-century in 2020 internationals as he put on 82 for the first wicket with Hales.
He's been absolutely lethal against everything that's come up against him here this evening.
Kiwi bowlers who had shown in the team's unbeaten run to the semis were at the receiving end of some brutal hitting that kept the packed house at Firozshah Kotla entertained.
His mind is going to look to go offside.
Today was as good as it probably gets to winning a 2020 game. However, there's obviously a few bits we need to work on. We had to claw it back because I got off to a good start, and yeah, credit to the boys for dragging it back.
But here we go.
New Zealand entered the match having won all 4 of their group matches and 12 of their last 13 in global tournaments. The Black Caps had defended scores of 126, 142 and 145 earlier in the tournament, but England had broken the back of the chase in amassing 49 by the time Williamson turned to his leading wicket-taker Michel Santner after 4 overs. Although Kane Williamson and Colin Munro's 74-run partnership laid a solid foundation, but the Kiwis faltered later on.
Yeah, I think they played very, very well, and we weren't quite at our best. Saying that, we still pushed them. We were able to put a little bit of pressure on them with our bowling effort, but look, we were a few short. So credit to England, they played outstandingly. To restrict us to 150 odd on that surface was a very good effort by their bowlers.
The 2010 champion England will now meet the winner of today's match between India and West Indies on Sunday in Mumbai. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
More to do.
All right, so interesting match lined up for the day, India versus West Indies. And with that, it is the end of this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks so much for your time.